Hey everyone, in today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about commissions. I've had a lot of people message me and ask me about how much does it cost to get something commissioned. Well, today we're going to touch on a little bit of that and give you some ideas of what to look for and what to watch out for. And also I'm going to talk to you about this newest commission that I just had done. So if you are new to this whole commission thing and you got a lot of questions, which I'm sure you do, this is a subject that is very touchy in a lot of areas and something you have to do a lot of research on. So while there are tons of Patreons out there doing some killer work out there, there's always probably this one model that you just want made. Nobody's doing it, no Patreon is doing it or anything like that. So why not commission it out yourself? And it all starts right here on your computer doing the research. Let's dig into it. So two of the things right off the bat you need to consider when looking for an artist are budget and of course the subject. Now when I say subject, I'm not talking about just the reference or the model that you plan on getting done. I'm talking about the complexity of it. Is it going to be simple? Do you want a very well detailed base? Do you want tons of detail? All of that stuff has to be considered whenever you are planning this out, because some artists charge out the wazoo for all that stuff, and rightfully so. So there are tons of places you could look out there. There's ArtStation, Facebook, Instagram. Again, this requires a tremendous amount of research. And remember, your budget is going to dictate what kind of model you get. Now, I've mentioned some of the artists that have done work for me in my Patreon, and I've even recommended some places like 3D Spot that are always posting online and everything. Again, whatever you have planned, you can present an idea to the artist and get the quote from them. But before you do that, you need to know your artist. So if you have someone in mind, the best thing for you to do is ask for a portfolio. That will show what their previous work looks like. And don't get something that's probably from 5 to 10 years ago, because one, they probably have gotten a lot better. You want to see something recent, or it could be the other way around. They could just gotten worse. Now, if you request a portfolio from an artist and they refuse to give you one or show any kind of their work, steer clear of that person, because a true artist who is wanting to get some commission work is not afraid to show you their portfolio. Matter of fact, they're pretty proud of it, and they should be. And don't be afraid to ask questions. One of the questions I like to ask is I try to get an idea of what they charge. And sometimes I'll ask if I can send some sort of reference photo to them of an idea that I have, and maybe kind of get a general spectrum of what they would charge for it. Now, if it's out of my budget or whatever, don't insult the artist. Just move along, thank them for their time, and go to the next person that maybe is more of your liking for your budget. And every artist is different. They have different prices on different things that they do. And again, it goes back to how much in depth you want to get into your model, textures, base, stance, subject itself, and details, of course. When you're getting a quote, you definitely want to be upfront of what you're looking for. Be very specific. Talk about cuts, talk about base, talk about what size you want it to be done in. Talk about anything like details like weapons, switch out portraits, extra accessories, things like that. The more information that you give the artist, the better the quote that you'll get. Now, if you're having trouble finding an artist, you can do a couple of things. You can go onto ArtStation, you can go onto some of the Facebook groups, you can go onto Instagram. One of the things that you can do if you're part of a 3D printing forum or group, you can ask. You can make a post into the group and ask of any artists. But beware of that, because you will get flooded with messages. You'll get flooded with legit artists, and you'll get flooded with people that, yeah, might not be an artist at all. That is why you want to be very specific as to what you're asking and any information that you give to the artist. You want to make sure that you give everything that you can possibly do to get that accurate quote, and make sure it's what you're looking for and what they're looking for. Now, if you have a very small budget, don't expect much, because like I said, an artist's work is worth a lot, and there are some great artists out there, but they're going to charge you for the work that they do. So one of the things that you can do is you can actually have a group of people to go in together to pitch in the money to buy the file. So that way all of you have it. But if it's something that you plan on having solely for your collection, expect to pay. Another specific thing that you should keep in mind is an artist will actually charge you depending on how many changes you want done to the model. So again, be very specific as to what you want. Now, during the middle of the process, there's always going to be something that you probably need changed or fixed. Now, be cautious because the artist can and will charge you for a lot of changes. Get all that information up front. Most artists will allow you a certain amount of changes before they do start charging you. Again, be specific. Another important thing to consider is timeline. How long will it take them to get everything done? Typically, artists can go anywhere from 1 to maybe 3 months, sometimes a little longer, depending on the complexity of the model that you're having done. But ask that question up front. And updates. You want to get some updates periodically. You don't have to get an update every day, but usually like once a week, once every 2 weeks, depending on how long it's going to take them to get it done, is customary. So the artist should not have any problem in giving you an update on what's going on. But keep in mind, don't be a pest. Don't text them every day to get an update. Let them do the work and they will get in touch with you. Now, if an artist kind of ghosts you or whatever like that, then that's a problem. Also, most artists are going to want a deposit up front before they even start. Usually it's customary to get a 50% deposit of the model itself, and the rest is due upon arrival of the file. And you want to find a safe way to pay that deposit and even the final payment in the end. That way you're both protected. Another thing to keep in mind that most people don't think about is make sure that the artist understands that when you buy that file from them and you pay them for the work, that file is yours. It doesn't belong to anyone else, can't be shared on their end with anyone else. That is yours, unless you have another arrangement worked out. Yeah, there are some artists out there that will actually take your work and resell it, but again, be specific. They'll actually charge you a cheaper fee in order for them to be able to sell it on somewhere like CG Trader or something of that nature. And that depends on whether you're okay with that or not. All I know is any model that I get, that I pay for, it's mine. I do as I want to with it. So once you have everything sorted out with the artist, you should be good to go. Your artist should deliver in a timely manner, give you timely updates. And again, if you like their work and you had a pleasurable experience with them during this whole process, you ask them to consider for future projects. So let's talk about some bullet points of things that you want to do and you do not want to do during this whole process. Number 1, don't insult an artist. If the price is too expensive for you, just say thank you and move along. There's no need to belittle their prices or anything. All art is subjective and every artist has their own price on things. I could tell you I've gotten models for as cheap as a couple of $100, and then there's been artists to charge for several thousands of dollars. That's their right to do so. They're putting in the work, not you. The price is settled up front, and be respectful of it. Number 2, don't settle on the first artist that you run across. Shop around a little bit, look at some portfolios, look at some other people's works, get some quotes, and make sure that you are going to be happy with that project. Number 3, beware of so-called artists. Not everybody is an artist. A lot of times I find out that you're going to get some people who just started working at Fiverr and they're going to send you all these other people's artwork and tell you how great they are, and then they're going to say, I can do this for 50 bucks. That should raise a red flag right there. Another thing you always want to do whenever you are working with an artist is to give them credit whenever you post their work. Make sure you let the people know that who did this work for them. Getting another artist's work from other people can be beneficial to you also as well in the long run. Another thing to consider too is creative freedom. A lot of artists really like that. You can be specific and still give an artist some creative freedom in doing what they want to do. They take more pride and more joy in working on that project if they have a little bit of say-so themselves. Don't be a tyrant when it comes to the project itself. Remember, they're the artist. They have a lot of knowledge, more so than you do. Okay, everybody, I hope that sums up some of your questions that you may have had about commissions. Now I'll give you an idea of what some of the projects cost me. I've never done this before, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up some of this to you so that way you kind of get a good understanding of what you're getting yourself into. Let's go. Okay, in this one here, we're going to start out with this Punisher 2099 that I just had made. Remember, a file can actually be enlarged or decreased in size to however big or how small you want it. Now, I wanted specifics in this one here, and I let the artist have a lot of creative freedom when it comes to the base. That was all they're doing. That had nothing to do with me. I wanted the stance of the Punisher holding these big ass guns here, and I really wanted the old school 2099, and so that's what they gave me. The artist is in the link in the description. Does incredible work. It's very detailed, and but you're going to be surprised how much this cost me. Now, the artist approached me, and it could be because I do a lot of commission work. I have a YouTube channel, and I will mention the artist on the said channel, but this project here costed me a little bit around $500, which is not a lot for a commission job such as this. Again, some artists will charge anywhere from probably a little lower than that, or some people will charge like $5,000, depending on their notoriety and everything that contributes to the project itself. All right, so let's take a look at another. All right, so here we have The Bad Night for the Ninjas, and this was done by FP Artworks, and Facundo Palais did this one for me. This was actually two separate projects that we did here, and again, I printed this in quarter scale, and we're talking a lot of detail in here. We're talking about, you got anything from the wood, the apples themselves, the textures and stuff on everything. And Facundo did a really amazing job on this. This is probably my favorite piece that I actually have in my collection right now. I just really love this whole lithograph setup here, or the lithograph. And this is probably my favorite piece that I have in my collection right now. This goes great with my lithographs from that Jim Lee did back in the late 80s. So this piece right here, I can't remember exact price. It's been a while since I had it done, but I want to say it was somewhere around $1,500 for both models. Again, that's a really good price. However, I mean, I had this done about 2 years ago, and prices may change. They do over time, but this is something that you might want to take into consideration. I mean, this is a big model. That's a little bit of money, but again, some projects cost more or less, so there you have it. The last one that I'll show you is this Punisher up here. This is actually one model with 3 different variations. I actually probably paid around $600 for this commission here, because I did buy the mesh separately from 3D Scan Store. This was a mesh from Eric Sosa. And I had the artist go in and put the suit on and do the weapons and everything else. And this was done by Marco Fife. I can't remember Marco's last name, but he'll have a link in the description. But yeah, so this actually is 3 different variations of it. And I really like this simplistic type Punisher here. But again, you're going to pay more for switch outs and different different things of it. Now, like the heads up there, I mean, there were some different heads that he actually did for the model. And, basically the legs are the same. The base is the same. There's actually 3 different torsos, I'm sorry, that he actually did with it. And this is pretty simple. There wasn't a lot of textures put into this model or anything, but it's very striking, and it's exactly how I wanted it. So there you have it. Now, I know a lot of people who get commissions will probably never ever tell you the price on some of these things, but I figured I would kind of give you an idea of what to look for or whatever. Some of you may go, oh, that's an incredible amount of money. And then there's going to be some of you to go, that's all you pay that artist for? Again, when you do the negotiations with the artist, you ask for a quote and they give it to you. You accept it or not. So that's what it is, people. And keep in mind, with these three artists that I've showed you, I've done a lot of commission work with these guys. I've gotten several projects done by them, and they continue to do tremendous work. And it's also allowed them to branch out a little bit from the notoriety and get other commission work from other people as well. So it's all great for an artist to get that extra work. That's what they want to do, and it works out for both of you. So there you have it. All right, everyone, that is it for today's video. This is something that I just kind of wanted to do because I've had a lot of questions asked about it, and I figured, why not? I'll just kind of just show you guys a little bit what to look for, some of the things that I do whenever I commission an artist out, and hopefully it gives you a little bit of insight on this whole process. And remember, if you're looking for a good Patreon, I have several models that I have commissioned that are in my Patreon right now. Go over and check it out. The link is below in the description. We'd love to have you over there because we do have Model of the Month. I got some new ones coming up real soon you're gonna want to see. And again, a huge shout out to my Patreon community. You guys are the absolute best. And we do have a private Discord where we talk all things for 3D printing and painting, and lots of tutorials, lots of help over there, and just a real good community, guys. So again, we'd love to have you over there. And remember, guys, if you do like the content, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And until the next video, everybody, stay safe out there. Get out and create something. Print, prep, paint, repeat. And until the next video, we'll see you. And speaking of commissions, I want to thank Blade Hats for the ultra cool Punisher hat that I had commissioned out from them. Go over and check him out. This guy does some incredible work, and I just absolutely love custom hats, and I think this one's really cool. Yeah. See you guys later.